Oh my god. Here we go again. It's time for the 10 worst albums of 2024. Obviously, this year had quite a few stinkers roll through, and yeah, some of these are actually ones that were in the Is It That Bad, actually. Actually, one, two, three of the albums on my list were from Is It That Bad? Four of them actually were from Is It That Bad, actually. So there's that. Four of them are on here because of Is It That Bad? And four of those I made appearances for, which are 8, 7, and 5 and 2, which we'll get to those when we get to it. Anyway, if those of you are wondering, where's Camila Cabello, where's Young Gravy, where's Scene Queen, they're not on my list. I didn't want to lose any more of my sanity on them, or I have to. Also, Imagine Dragons is not on the list. Deal with it, because that Imagine Dragons album is so fucking bad, it does not deserve my attention. But anyway, before I start, I'm going to go over a few dishonorable mentions that I feel were terrible, but weren't bad enough to make the list. Actually, I forgot to grab one of the discs, but I'll mention it anyway. Anyway, let's get started. Dishonorable mentions. First dishonorable mention is Pearl Jam, Dark Matter, released on April 19th. The 12th album from this Seattle band gives us more of the same from the last album. And this is really boring. Title track of Dark Matter and Wreckage was also pretty bad. And Running was also not good either. And yeah, it's boring. It was mid. It was so fucking boring. It sucked. It's really bad. Next dishonorable mention is the one I forgot to bring in here earlier, is Slash with his blues covers album Orgy of the Damned. Man, this one really sucked, because I love Slash's work with Guns N' Roses. But man, some of these covers sucked. Oh Wow with Chris Stapleton is god awful. Because, yeah, don't get me started on that cover with Chris Stapleton, because that one got me so irritated. I know some people like Chris Stapleton. I can't stand him. His vocals are nails on a chalkboard for me, and it just irritates me to no end. And the god awful Stormy Weather cover with Beth Hart, and also Awful Dream of Iggy Pop. And that was terrible as well. And then you got Born Under a Bad Sign. Paul Rogers is also cringy. I don't like that cover at all. But there's some good stuff like Killing Floor with Brian Johnson, and Papa Was a Rolling Stone with Demi Lovato. But also The Pusher with Chris Robinson. Learn that. Oh boy, this one really sucked. Finally, the last dishonorable mention I have is Eminem, Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace. Oh my god! The worst hip hop album of the year. It's really bad. It's worse than Lil Dicky's album that dropped in January, and man, is it cringy. With stuff like Houdini, where he does like some very transphobic bar on the final verse where he says, "My treasure cut Simon's that part." He says, and of course, but he also does a really dumb yet hilarious diss toward R. Kelly during the final verse on Houdini as well. But the rest of the album really sucks. And yeah, it really wasn't worth listening to the full thing. All right, into the actual list now. Number 10, Ministry, Hopium for the Masses, released on March 1st. Another Ministry album, another spot in the worst list. I've never been a fan of Ministry. They got some songs that I think are decent, like Just One Fix and NWO. Man, this band has been really off the rails lately. Especially with that new song. Don't get me started on tracks like BDE, which, holy shit, that opening track sucked. and it was terrible. And as well as Goddamn White Trash and freaking Just Stop Oil was so passive aggressive. Oh my god. So terrible. Number 9, Green Day, Saviors, released on January 19th. Oh my god. This record is so boring. American Dream is Killing Me, one of the worst songs that came out late 2023. And then Locomotive Brains is cringy. And then you got One Eyed Bastard, which sounds like So What from Pink. And Bobby Socks, which is so cringy. And you got Dilemma is also really bad. But yeah, this whole album sucked. It was terrible. Number 8 is the first out of 4 that I was involved in for Is It That Bad? Linkin Park, From Zero, released November 15th. Oh my god. First album in 7 years from this band. And obviously, yeah, when I found out they were coming back, I've been a Linkin Park fan for a while. It was the first album without Chester Bennington, who committed suicide back in 2017. And their first one with the new vocalist. I found out they had a new vocalist. I was kind of looking forward to it. And with Emptiness Machine was pretty good. But then they dropped Heavy is the Crown, which is absolutely atrocious. Song Over Each Other was also really bad. And then when the album dropped, oh my god, was it terrible hearing stuff like Casualty. Because hearing Emily's vocals on there, and holy fuck, does she suck! Her voice is ear-piercing, whether she's shrieking loudly or trying to imitate Chester in the studio. She's nails on a chalkboard. And yeah, From Zero absolutely sucked. Number 7 is another one I was involved in for Is It That Bad? The Offspring, Supercharged, released on October 11th. 11th record from this punk band of California. It was really bad. Light It Up was horrendous second single. Come to Brazil I enjoyed. Truth and Fiction sounded like Bad Religion. And then you got Make It All Right, which is stupid. It rips off Blink-182. And the big problem on that, Dexter Holland's voice is shot. It's beyond shot. It's really bad. And man, is it really bad. It's a very atrocious album. Number 6 is Katy Perry with 143, released September 20th on, I think, Interscope Records. 6th album from this pop singer, and this is easily her worst album to date. Way worse than Smile. And yeah, it was really bad. 21 Savage being on one of the tracks made it even worse. Don't get me started on that track, Gimme Gimme with 21 Savage, because that song got me so irritated. I know some people like 21 Savage. I can't stand him. His rapping is nails on a chalkboard to me. And Woman's World, easily the worst song I've heard this year. One of the worst songs I've heard. And oh my god, is it terrible. That music video with the Carpenter's belt on, which I'll get to that when we get to the worst songs video. Into the top 5 we go for the worst albums here. At number 5 is 6 Feet Under, Killing for Revenge. My very first appearance on Is It That Bad? And yes, it sucks. It is terrible. Chris Barnes sounds like shit. And you got Know Nothing Ain't Great, one of the worst songs I've heard. And the cover of Hair of the Dog is fucking atrocious. And then you got Ascension is the only one that right on there at the end. So bad. Fuck this album. Fuck 6 Feet Under for that one. Next up, number 4, it's an EP. Motley Crue with Cancelled. It's an EP, their first release since 2008, and it is easily the worst EP of the year. Very bad release. Vince Neil sounds like shit. And you got Dogs of War, worst song in there. One of the worst songs I've heard this year. Cover Fight for Your Right is atrocious. And that title track Cancelled is also cringe as well. Number 3, and this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, Inquisition, Veneration of Medieval Mysticism and Cosmological Violence, released on January 26th via Agonia Records. Oh my god. So as someone who never really listened to Inquisition, I kind of needed to check this album out here. But man, listening to this album, for that review that I did earlier this year, made my opinions change. Cause Jesus Christ, this band sucks. And man, this is even worse on that. The worst part about it is all the disgusting allegations surrounding their front man. And yeah, this album sucks. It is cringe. Not a good album. I only listened to it once, and I had no interest in going back to it. It was painful. Dagon's voice is atrocious. And of course, he is a gross human being. So yeah. Number 2, another one that shouldn't come as a shock to anyone, is Falling in Reverse with Popular Monster, released on August 16th. My second Is That Bad appearance, and the last Is That Bad covered album that I'm going to have on this list. Oh my god, this album is so absolutely atrocious. Mr. Ronnie Radke, aka Ronald McDonald, is one of the biggest scumbags, not only in music, but in life in general. This guy who fronts the band is one of the worst human beings ever. He's racist, homophobic, transphobic, sexist. He is the Donald Trump of the music world. And yeah, you got some really bad songs in there like Prequel, which he sounds like Tom McDonald. And then you got All My Life featuring Jelly Roll, easily one of the worst songs of the year. And you got Ronald featuring Tech Nine and Alex Terrible. And the god-awful Last Resort cover. Oh my god, is it bad. So bad. Yeah, the new Falling in Reverse album, Popular Monster, is number 2 on my worst list. One of the worst albums of the year. And number 1 for the worst album of the year goes to Marilyn Manson with One Assassination Under God, Chapter 1, released on November 22nd via Nuclear Blast Records. Oh my god. Man, as someone who used to be a fan of Manson for a while until all those allegations unfolded. Oh my god. As soon as I heard this album, I was like, oh my god, this is Ministry sounding. It is a watered down version of Ministry. And yeah, As Dark as Secrets Within, easily the worst song I've heard this year. It sucks. Raise Red Flag is atrocious. And man, this guy, Marilyn Manson, is one of the most disgusting human beings out there. He is the R. Kelly of hard rock, just like Dagon is the R. Kelly of metal. So there's that. And yeah, this album sucked. Marilyn Manson's new album is terrible. This guy is absolutely disgusting. And this guy needs to be put on the registration and put behind bars because he's a fucking disgusting human being. And yeah. Thank God that list is over. I never want to hear these awful albums again, man. Oh my God. Anyway, that's it for the video. I'll see you later.